中島さんは今何をおっしゃいと言いますか。あなた遅いです。
Next movie is God's Not Dead. Being a spiritual person and having dealt with people who have what I can only tell you is supernatural ability, because I've seen it with my own eyes. I've worked in religion, and for me, God is not dead. Very much alive, very much in charge of everything, but standing aloof because there is a second God. The devil actually is the one who's running the earth. And if you don't know the real God, you're actually praying to Satan to come rescue you or save you or do whatever. He is the God of the world. The Bible tells you that. God tells you that many times, that the devil is running the world as its God at the present time. That's why Christ returns to take over. The devil is then chained. There is no second God at that point. But anyway, this film is so true to life. The actors are so excellent at what they do. The subject matter is not lame or boring. It is actually quite interesting and exciting to watch, especially the scene with the Alzheimer's woman who has only part of her brain is active, but her son, who's a complete evil moron, is in the questioning why she's so loyal to God, and he isn't, but yet he's filled with wealth and everything good in his life, and she's sitting there with Alzheimer's, and then suddenly she starts telling him that sometimes the jails are filled with all kinds of good things, so the person doesn't want to leave the jail even though the door's open, and eventually that door shuts and will never be open again. That scene just floored me when I seen that. That was something. The audience all almost gasped when they heard this. It's a fantastic movie. This movie here, I would have to say, was designed by God himself. You have to see this film if you want to see a work of God. And I can tell you from my experience as an exorcist and in religion, and knowing the Bible ins and outs because I've studied it so many times, that this movie, God is Not Dead, has been not only inspired by God, it is actually, I could see the hand of God producing this movie. So if you want to see a living example of something that was built and designed by God, it is this movie. This is the movie you need to see. When I went in there thinking that this is going to be some lame religious movie from some lame religious group, and all the characters are going to be happy do-gooders, or at the exact opposite. But there are no black and whites here. There's a thorough, really good explanation of why people behave like they do, and it fits straight in with psychology. The acting is superb from everybody. It's realistic. This is a realistic movie. The variety of different lives that you see in this film are so much like real people in real situations. And all I can say, if you want to see the work of God, then this movie, God is Not Dead, is the one you should see. Highly recommend this. In fact, I'm not even going to rate this movie because I can't sit in judgment of God, and I'm very certain God made this film. Even though they may not say this, the producers and directors may not say this, but I see the hand of God in this movie. Highly recommended. This, apparently in the United States right now, there's a bunch of religious people who are losing their jobs or getting in trouble at work because they're practicing their religion, their Christianity. And so I guess they inspired this movie, how you can stand up for yourself in dealing with atheists who are who are telling you how you're going to live your life or how you're going to think, or atheists telling you who you're going to worship, because apparently that's going on now in the United States. So there's lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit for fighting for the freedom to be religious or to have your own religious beliefs. And this movie inspired this idea that this guy here is going to fail this class and be set back in his work towards becoming a lawyer, because this professor, who's an atheist and a former Christian, and you will notice in real life that the biggest atheists in the world and the biggest persecutors of Christianity are former Christians. This is a true fact. It's mentioned in this movie. Usually, your regular atheist, he just doesn't care about, you follow whatever religion you want. I don't care, just don't push it on me. Well, the persecutors are the ex-Christians, and you'll find that the biggest complainers actually in the church are Christians as well. So, it happens, and divorce among Christian men and women is quite high. It's no different from being in the outside world. That's unfortunate, but it happens. Christianity is being severely divided into several groups. But anyway, this movie's about this university student who's trying to get a degree, but this one class in philosophy, the professor requires that all students write down God is dead on a piece of paper and hand it to him, so he can go past this area of philosophy and just go straight into what he wants to teach. And he also finds that he needs them to back up his feelings on the subject. But this one student decides that he's going to defend God's honor. He's not given into it. He does not believe in God being dead, and even though he has a struggle with trying to find the proof, he does in fact find the proof, and this is the proof that God exists is in this movie. You will find it in this kid's speech. For me personally, I do go to science as well to prove that God is alive. God says in the Bible, if you want to know about my existence, then just check your environment and life around you and you will see me. And that's what this kid did, this university student. And he actually wins in the end, because the other students are the judges, or the jury in this case. For me personally, it was the same thing. I prove God's existence. Number one, the first way that you can prove it is through the DNA cycle. There is no evidence at all that DNA is produced naturally. It was never proven, in spite of the fact decade after decade after decade after decade after decade scientists have been trying to prove it. They've never been able to, because the enzyme that's located on the DNA chain produces DNA, and only from DNA can this enzyme come. There's no other way to produce DNA, and they've never been able to do it. That's proof that it requires a creator, and now we have the holographic universe theory from the quantum mechanics physicists have now shown that the universe is actually holographic, and that we actually exist on the edge of the universe as an image, or as information projected into this universe. And now the question is, who created this? Because this could not have happened on its own. And science and religion is a great concept to get into, and it's really well covered in this movie.